Once upon a time in a cabbage field, Grasshopper was enjoying his life. His life felt full of happiness and peace. His life's needs were met in the cabbage field. The appearance of a herd of lizards poses a threat to the grasshoppers. The life of the grasshopper will be threatened because the lizards will prey on it. The grasshopper must find a solution, otherwise he will continue to be in great danger. The lizards were very hungry, eating anything they could find. Lizards began to occupy the cabbage fields. Grasshoppers flew around. But every now and then the grasshopper returns because the cabbage patch is his home. The grasshopper may hate this situation, but the situation he hates may be the best for him. Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 216. It turns out that not only small lizards, but large lizards like monitor lizards also appear in cabbage fields. The grasshoppers swarm flies again. They think of a plan to fight against the lizard. The small lizards kept approaching the grasshoppers. This was intended to disturb the grasshoppers' comfort. Day by day, the swarm of grasshoppers is threatened. Their life is no longer as comfortable as before in the cabbage field. The grasshopper doesn't want the cabbage field that has become his home to be controlled by the lizard. The grasshopper's swarm built a defensive fortress. They hoped that this fortress could protect them. The ranks are closed, ready to face whatever threat comes. This is all because of the survival of life, the survival of the next generation, which is his responsibility. In the Quran, we are taught to be frugal in preserving food for tomorrow. Eat what you reap, let it remain in its grain, except for the little you eat. Surah Yusuf, verse 47. Lizards try to trap a swarm of grasshoppers by giving them cabbage leaves. But the grasshoppers were not as stupid as the lizards thought. The grasshoppers fought back. Their king directly led his troops. Home is still home. For grasshoppers, this is their pride, and they can't just leave it alone. This is the homeland. The grasshoppers will defend it to the last drop of blood until they die. It's not just about the need for food, it's about who can survive. Grasshoppers have a long history in the cabbage field. Emotionally, they are the ones who deserve to occupy it. Lizard challenges, grasshopper fights, the law of the jungle applies. Maybe the lizard was too confident and underestimated the grasshoppers. Fight in the way of Allah those who fight you, but do not exceed limits. Indeed, Allah does not like those who exceed limits. Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 190. Flocks of grasshoppers desperately fighting for the future, for the motherland. For the sake of survival, no matter how big the threatening opponent is, everything will be faced bravely. Fight now or be colonized forever. That is the principle of survival. The grasshopper's swarm unites, forming a line, like a fortress on the battlefield. But lizards also need food intake for their generations. Could they make peace? Could the lizards relent and let the grasshoppers live as before in the cabbage field? Grasshoppers are willing to die fighting for their homeland, and this is a form of struggle. Grasshoppers will never be willing to have even a little of their possessions taken. This is not about being stingy, but the wild world is indeed harsh. Life is a test. The test is hard, and indeed we will test you, so that we know those among you who strive for jihad and are patient, and that we may declare, good and bad, your condition. Surah Muhammad, verse 31. The grasshopper's swarm returns to calm. The lizards realize that the cabbage field was not their place. Now the grasshoppers are enjoying its food peacefully, without any more threats. This is how nature works, the process of how the system works. Survival must continue. The food chain must run as it should. Everything needs balance. Conflict does not need to be prolonged. Everything must be well maintained so that nature can be well preserved too. And avoid conflict. And if they incline towards peace, then incline towards it, and put your trust in Allah. Indeed, He is the all-hearing, all-knowing. Surah Al-Anfal, verse 61.